Thanks for watching my video. My name is Rob Snowhite, and this is my periodical cicada fly. I've tied over 600 of these now, so I know what I'm doing. These are going to be super effective, and in about a week from today, the world's largest concentration of brood cicadas will emerge in the DC metro area. So if you want to tie them and you don't have the materials, you can purchase them from my Etsy site. If not, you can just buy the flies already tied from my Etsy site. This is my brood cicada. It's not the most cicada-looking fly. It's tied for fish, not people. It's supposed to look like a helpless organism that's an easy meal that lands on water. You'll notice that it doesn't have perfect segmentation, doesn't have perfect wings, no legs, doesn't have perfect eyes. This is not intended for you to judge. This is for the fish. So let me break down the materials going into it and how to tie it. So first up, we're going to use a size 4 1x long hook. I just happen to have an Orvis pack here. I'm going to use 210 Denier thread, and I'm going to start that at the eye, and I'm going to wrap it all the way down. All the way back up. This is just a base for your super glue. Next, I'm going to use Loctite gel. 1 dot here, 1 little dot there, 1 little dot here. Then I'm going to take my 1/8 inch piece of evasote foam. I'm going to lay it down here, right behind the eye. I'm going to wrap it on. Now you can do as few or as many wraps as you want, because the next step is going to be Korean scrub yarn, and that gives the segmentation appearance to your fly. So I just did about 7 or 8 of those. And what I'm going to do now is take Korean scrub yarn, and I'm going to tie it in the back. So the more wraps you have, the more orange Korean scrub yarn you're going to have, the fewer wraps. I'm going to wrap my thread back up through those. If you want your wraps to be perfectly concentric, you're going to have to flip it over and wrap them like this. That way they're more rounded. If you tie it like this, they're going to be wrapped in at an angle on the bottom, but they're going to look good on top. So you have your choice. I'm going to wrap the thread off right behind the eye. Cut that, put it away. So this looks like a hairy something caterpillar. I'm going to fold the foam down over, wrap it off 3 times behind the eye, and then I'm going to make the eyes. This is made out of foam. I'm going to put my drill bit against my hard block of foam, and then I have a foam eye plug. It's 3 millimeters wide, form and function, not for aesthetics. I'm now going to wrap this in right behind the foam where it's tied in, just like a clouser. It's going to look like this. Now I'm going to pull the thread back a little bit and separate now to 2 segments. It's not a 3-segmented organism. Sorry, fish. From here, I'm going to take my legs. My first choice for lead legs are centipede legs. You cut this into thirds to tie. The accent legs are going to be just flat silicone legs, and they're very breakable. So be careful tying this fly in particular. You can use orange or black, whatever color works for you. So what I'm going to do is take my legs, line them up, and I'm going to place them halfway over the joint where I just tied and wrap them in 3 times. 1 little tug. You don't want these to come loose. So wrap properly, but not too hard where you're going to cut your foam. Line these up as well. Tie them in on my side, just like we do on the Chernobyl ants or on my scorpion bugs. It's going to look like this. All right, now for the wing material, I'm going to use Garn. Garn is what I use for my gar flies. I'm just going to happen to cut off about 4 to 5 inches of pre-made Garn, and then I'm going to take a little bit of Krystal flash, and I'm going to add it just on top. Give it a little bit of garnish. Now, if you're tying one of these kits, you should pre-measure how many 5 is, so you don't just start cutting and run out. I'm going to lay this down like a bow tie right over where the legs are. I'm going to wrap them in, and then I'm going to crisscross them 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Pull so they don't come loose. Pull the legs back. 1, 2, 3. So now it looks like a bow tie. Pull these forward, 2 wraps behind it. Then I'm going to fold this. Pull all the legs and wings material. This is where you're going to run into trouble. If you haven't cut your foam, you're out of the woods so far. I'm going to do 2 wraps to make the head. Pull everything out and to the side and forward. He's now going to half hitch it, and if these legs are in the way, they're going to get caught and they're just going to be mangled underneath. Pull my thread down, rather large loop, go over the fly, pull everything forward, making sure the legs are out of the way. If your legs do get caught, you could use a bodkin, or I use a dental pick just to get in there and pop them out. So there you have almost a finished fly. You can leave this on. It's going to make it more resistant to the wind, but you'll be able to see it. I'm going to trim it down by 1/3. Then I'm going to pop this out. So now it looks buggy, but I want these wings to be a little bit more buggy, to look like they're fluttering in the water. So I'm going to take a brush, and I'm going to use my knee, or my work pants, and I'm just going to brush this out. If there's a weird wonky knot in there, you can just run your scissor through it, and it'll come out. That's one wing, and then the next. And then there's a little wonky piece, so I'm going to do that. So my wings are all prepared now. I'm going to fold them back to make them even length, which should come just past the hook right here. Trim that. I could use sharper scissors, but these are in my hand. So now we've got our wings, our legs, our body. Let's trim the eyes down. You want to go this angle so you don't cut any Krystal flash or rubber legs. And that's what the cicada looks like that I made. So that is my Rob Snowhite take on the Periodical Brood Cicada. It's made for fish, not people. Super buggy. You're going to need these in about a week. And I'm selling a lot, so the price may go up depending on the demand for them. Hope you enjoyed that. I will have a closer up version of that also that'll be filmed by my phone at a later time. So if you need the flies, you got questions, robsnowhite.com. Be sure to listen to the podcast, and you can find the podcast now, waypointstv.com. Thanks for watching. Have fun with your cicadas.